It's Darkside Phil's Game of the Year Awards for 2012. The top 10 best games of the year. Honorable mention, Lollipop Chainsaw. Well, all I really have to say about this game is it's from Suda51, so you know that it's going to be crazy, off-the-wall, adult-oriented action. It's got everything that you would expect from this style of game. It's got the sexual humor, it's got the half-naked protagonist who's doing crazy kung fu flips and things with a chainsaw. It's got really fun and responsive gameplay, really unique and different bosses, a great soundtrack, colorful graphics. The game's really fun. Again, I think this is a game that a lot of people probably skipped over because they don't get Suda51 in their style of humor, and or they didn't understand that this game is meant to be played multiple times. Yes, the game is on the shorter side, but as you replay the game, you will unlock different abilities, different outfits. The game is meant to be a game that you play 2 to 3 times on harder difficulties, and I think a lot of people this day and age just get turned off when they hear, oh, the game's not 12 hours long. Well, that doesn't mean that this isn't a unique, fun, entertaining experience. It's a game that everyone should definitely check out, and that's why I'm giving it an honorable mention. But now back to the countdown with my number 9 pick, The Darkness 2. Well, I said it before and I'll say it again. Here's another classic case of a game that was overlooked by the majority of gamers, and that's a real shame. The Darkness 2 is a unique game. Yes, it is a first-person shooter, but it also has crazy supernatural elements. As you play through the game, you level up your character, who has this demon attached to him, and it gets crazy execution abilities. You also get enhanced shooting abilities. The game is perfectly paced, and as if the gameplay and the graphics weren't enough to win you over, how about a story that's a complete mystery? You are playing a gangster who is torn because his girlfriend was killed, and he just hasn't been able to really get over it. A secret society starts to follow him around because they know that he has control of this demon, and then he starts to second guess himself and wonder if he really is who he thinks he is. In the story, there's actually 2 different plot lines. One that follows the mobster, but another one of a person in a mental home who's basically being told that all these ideas of this demon and this mob lifestyle are all in his head, and that he's just crazy. And so you start to even question yourself, what's really going on in this game? An outstanding story, great character development, a really interesting artistic style, and perfect pacing made this one of my favorite FPS games of the year. And then there was actually online cooperative mode that was a completely different campaign that was also very entertaining. So the question is, why didn't this game get more attention? And I'm not really sure, maybe because it was a sequel and people didn't necessarily like the first game as much as this one was. I really think the major reason is because the campaign of the game is around 5 to 6 hours long, and in this day and age, a lot of people just say, oh, the game's too short, I'm gonna skip it. Also, there was the fact that there were a lot of other very popular games being released around the same time as The Darkness 2, and I think a lot of people said, oh, I'm going to save my money for this other AAA title, and that's unfortunate. The Darkness 2 is perfectly paced. If the game were any longer, I think people would say, oh, it dragged out too much, or, oh, this feels like this part of the game is way too long. The story has a really interesting conclusion, and I am really disappointed, and here's why. There was supposed to be story-based DLCs released for The Darkness 2 over the course of 2012, but because the game did so poorly in the sales, they decided to can all of them as of December. And that's unfortunate, because I was so looking forward to having this plotline continue. The game has a cool ending, but it is kind of a cliffhanger, and I get the feeling that in the DLC they were going to continue it on, and unfortunately it just got tossed in the trash. So The Darkness 2, one of my favorite games of the year. Don't miss out. At this point, you can probably get it at a bargain somewhere online or at a game store because, like I said, it didn't sell that well. So for a discounted title, this is a must-have. Definitely try it out. Up next on the countdown, a game that almost never got made ends up being one of the best of the year. Check it out.